So today I have a very special guest. I think he's one of the most fascinating, honestly, one of the most fascinating people around me, just because the amount of responsibility he had, yet from business to family and kids to winning bodybuilding competitions, one of the 1% distributors of Herbalife, and all of that all together while having a family, while having kids, and while taking care of a lot of things, and still yet be very consistent with fitness journey. So today I want to introduce you the Fit Dad experience by Sheriff. Sheriff is a living example of the no excuse lifestyle. Literally,
Absolutely.
like, if you think you don't have time, watch this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
and not only taking care of yourself, like actually winning body, as I said, like bodybuilding competitions against people who do this for a living. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm very excited for today's content. What's going on, my guy?
Yeah. Hey man, nothing much, man. I'm excited to be on this call with you as well, man. I think you know, hearing some of the accolades that you just shared about me, I don't think it it really 100% represents who I am, or I don't always look at myself as that, but hearing it from you just made it, you know, kind of put it all into perspective. I know I do live, you know, this lifestyle around my daughter, around my beautiful girlfriend, and you know, just all of the things that I'm able to do is just fortunate to be here where I am today. But it definitely took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication in the craft. But yeah, man, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to be able to speak with you, and I'm excited to be able to be on this call.
Right. Excited to say for me. Today I want to like really talk about fitness and relationship, the relationship between fitness and business and families. It's always like fascinating for me, like, because people separate these things, like my fitness life, my family, my social life, my business life, and it's not that way. There's just life, and it's all working together. You know what I mean? It's impossible to be in top in fitness game and then like, you know what I mean, like do poor in business, just because the mindset that you're gonna have, the body and everything.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? What's
So just like you said, I mean, honestly, there is no separation between fitness, lifestyle, or anything like that. It's all just one encompassing thing, right? And when I think about, you know, fitness as a whole, the thing is like most people think that they got to drop everything in order to succeed in fitness. Or most people get into this space where, like, for example, let me give you an example. So I have clients, right, or people who are interested in getting results, right? And obviously fitness is a huge aspect of getting the results that they want. And for when people reach out to me and they want to get a result, they understand that fitness is first, right? They don't always necessarily understand that nutrition is also key. And so when we have the conversation, most people feel as though in order for them to achieve their desired result, that they have to live, or they have to do a set of things, like quit eating certain things cold turkey, or be in a position where they do something, you know, cold turkey, as opposed to looking at it as like, you know, you incorporate health and fitness, nutrition and fitness as part of your lifestyle, and not just something that you segment into a particular part of your lifestyle or a particular segment of your lifestyle. So case in point, right? And when you think about like, I have clients that's like, hey, you know what, Reef, I don't want to get started with you right now because Thanksgiving is coming up, or Christmas is coming up, or the New Year is coming up, right? And one of the things I always gotta remind them is that, listen, those things will always be there. They're never gonna go away. There's always gonna be Thanksgiving, there's always gonna be birthdays, there's always gonna be something. And the longer that you keep prolonging your journey because you're afraid of a particular day, right? And these are days. Thanksgiving is a day, birthday is a day, you know, all of these are holidays, right? Not hollow weeks, not hollow years, not hollow months, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so as long as you continue to prolong this, you're never going to get the results. Because why? Because these things are always going to show up for you. And so what I try to remind them is that, no, you do this as part of your lifestyle. It's not something that you just stop everything just to do for a particular segment. And I have clients right now, and I'll tell you, it's like one of the worst decisions to try to get a result just for a specific time period. Because right now, I'm gonna tell you right now too, people reach out to me and say, hey, I want to get results because summer is coming. Well, the thing is that like, what's going to happen after summer? You're just going to let yourself go and then you're going to repeat this cycle every single year. Why not just do the small little tasks daily in order to get and maintain the results? And so that way you don't have to ever lose it and then try to retain it or try to get it back by doing all of these outrageous things for a small period. And so when I think about fitness and lifestyle, it's all in one, right? You just incorporate it into your lifestyle, and you don't necessarily try to just do it for a particular segment of your lifestyle.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I actually remember one of the conversations I had it with a monk who's pretty much eats once a week. It's kind of crazy. He just drink water, eat once a week, meditate the whole day. One of the fascinating thing I asked him is like, why people always feel like they need to get something, like goals, get the secret here is get. And he says, it's a lack mindset. You always feel like you need to chase something.
Right.
Always that thing that you want to chase is outside of you, where what you first has to do is just take limitation and turn it into possibilities. Those words always stick in my mind. It's like, it's not about what's gonna come outside. It is this is the most important one. And yeah, that's fascinating because like, if you always trying to get something, you always feel like you want to do the work to get it. And it's always, you're stuck in your mind. It's like, I don't want to do this work. Is it worth it? It's too much calculation where you can just honestly like work out. Like if you can work out for 20 minutes, it's better than nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And exactly.
Start with 20 minutes, get to 30 minutes, get to 40 minutes, get to an hour. Now 2 hours, now you can do competitions. But you're not going to be from 0 to 2 hours. Is that correct? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, think every expert was once a beginner, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so in order for you to become great at something, you have to obviously start. And what hinders most people from really getting going is that they think they have to know everything. They think they have to be an expert. Like when I first got started in health and fitness, I didn't know anything. And I knew that in order for me to know or to learn something, that I had to just jump into it, right? There was no books, there was no seminar, there was nothing that was going to trump experience. And so as soon as I started diving into it, what I did was, maybe I couldn't do what that expert was doing at that time, but I knew I can do a little bit. I could do a fraction of it. And I knew if I did the fraction, then the next time I could do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And what I noticed is that these are baby steps that ultimately lead to a giant step. And if you take those little steps one at a time, you will become better and you will become, more knowledgeable. You will have a really good sense of how to achieve your goals, and you will achieve your goals. But everything starts with just doing the small little bit. And I think, there was a saying, I think it was by Les Brown, right? He said, by the yard it's hard, but inch by inch it's a cinch. And that's one of my favorite lines because it just sums up the mindset and understanding of how to achieve your goals. It's never, you don't just take a giant step and ultimately get there. It's little baby steps that's going to ultimately get you to where you want to be.
Yeah. I think, what do you think about the people's lifestyle? I totally agree, because people adapt certain lifestyles that are not a good fit for their life right now. Like it's literally when you don't accept your lifestyle right now and force something to it, you don't accept reality. And it's always going to be a struggle. So what do you think, what is the most important thing in people's lifestyle that they have to take care of? A little tips and little actions that they can do right now to improve, that journey for them, to open up that door of fitness for them, maybe feel more comfortable.
No. So, and I'll share this. It's kind of like this. It's like one of the most important things that we naturally control is the decisions that we make on a daily basis. And so speaking on decisions, right? If your goal is to eat better, right? Your first instinct is to all of a sudden replace everything in your pantry or all of your stuff, right, with healthy items. And I will tell you right now, if you did that, there's a strong possibility that you'll fail. The reason why is because you went from one extreme, right, eating super unhealthy, to another extreme, eating super healthy, right? And it's not sustainable because there was no in between period. There was nothing that allowed for you to develop the muscle to really be at this other extreme. And so the small changes that I would suggest for if you want to eat healthier is start replacing one item for another item, not the whole pantry, but just one item for another item. So instead of eating those bag of chips, try eating an apple, right? Instead of drinking that soda, try drinking a little bit of water, right? And so over time, when you start to develop these newer habits, right? Because they will become habits over time. When you start to develop these newer habits, you'll start to notice how your life starts to transform and you start to become more of what you want to become. And so bottom line, the first things that you want to start doing with anything, whether it's fitness, whether it's nutrition, health, or whatever, is take those baby steps. Don't go full turkey and just all of a sudden tell yourself that you're going to be this person, because that's not going to happen. You know, every year, I'm going to tell you, in the new year, right? We just hit 2022, right? Every year in the new year, I always hear this: new year, new me.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the funniest quotes ever. New year, new me. Well, I'm going to tell you, that never pans out. I mean, maybe I would say 5% of the people who actually say that actually go on to make changes, and those people have the discipline to do so. But I always tell people that think, if you really want to commit to new year, new me, you don't start in the new year. You start in September. You start months and before, so that you can develop the habits, so that by the time the new year comes in, if that's the goal that you set in mind or the timetable that you set in mind, then you'll develop the muscle in order to continue it. And so, and there's no, like, if you take time out of it, right? Because I know we as humans, we always like to, associate everything with time. If you take time out of it, like, let's forget that this is January. Let's just say this is an arbitrary time and space, and this is just today. You take time out of it and you start to look at your situation and you just start to take on the smaller habits, you'll win every single time, right? And so forget time, just start with the basics, just start with the little things, and let's take this journey and get you to where you want to be.
That makes a lot of sense, because time, people think about time as like, I want these results right now. Yeah. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's, if you, like, your body needs at least 40 days of muscle memories and memories itself to be repeated again and again in order for you to do it unconsciously. You know what I mean? Same thing with fighting. Like, when we look at people's styles, right? Fighting styles. I'm not going to beat him in his, like, for example, movements, but I'm going to develop a movement that is against it, and I will do it again and again and again. I'll start with 5 minutes, and then it turns to an hour, and that it's naturally for me. So when that comes to me, my initial reaction is already there, and that's where people don't understand. Like, you can live beyond your memories, true, but that requires a very high intelligence from people that most likely they don't have. You know what I mean? So. What do you think about, like, those, like, 30-day get a body strip, like, shredded in 30 days or less, or lose belly fat in 10 minutes? Like, Jesus.
Well, those are obviously, we're clear, we're clear that those are huge gimmicks, right? I mean, I've never been an advocate of any, putting time on anything, right? Because everybody's going to be different. And there probably have been, and I'll just be honest with you, there probably have been people who've gotten crazy results in 30 days, right? But the majority of people won't necessarily see the same results, and everybody's different, right? And so, like, when people promise 30-day, transformations and, you'll do this. Well, I'm always asked, like, but how are you so sure? Right? How are you so sure someone's going to get results in 30 days? Are you there to force them to eat right? Are you there to force them to go to the gym? I mean, I think personally, instead of focusing on a timetable of 30 days, just focus on just living a healthier lifestyle. And instead promise, say, hey, listen, the goal is to transform your life, right? To create new habits so that you can continue this process forever, right? Not 30 days. And even when you think about 30 days, I know there's been a lot of people who've done stuff like this. Oh, get involved with 30-day transformations. What about that? What happens after 30 days? So you transform in 30 days, et cetera. You get a result in 30 days. And then what happens to the next 30 days? Do we forget about the next 30 days or the next years of your life? So, don't focus on 30-day transformations. Let's just focus on lifestyle changes and creating new habits.
Got it. And for you, as like, what is the challenge that you have in your lifestyle? For example, when you started, like, let's go back all the way to before success, before having a girlfriend and a daughter. Like, what initially get you started in here? Like, how did you grow up? You know what I mean? Did you grow up in a family that is more of like a systematic family that build habits for you, or you had to understand, for example, I got to build it for myself?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is a really good question, and it takes me all the way back, and it's a really good question because it gets you to understand the mindset that I've created over the years to help me create the success that I've had today. And so, just to kind of go all the way back, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but I grew up in a household where I was raised by both my parents, my mother and my father. My father was the disciplinary one. He was the strict one. He was the one that really challenged me as a human being, right? My dad was one of those people that were like, if there was information that you wanted to know, right? He always challenged me to go seek it, to go after it myself, right? And he was the person that he's been in the military, but he was very military-like. He did everything on time, by the book, And so I developed a lot of those habits, and by watching him and just by being around him and just by being challenged by him. And so, as I got older, right, obviously, applying a lot of these disciplines into my life, obviously I got really good grades in high school and college and things like that. And, transforming it into my, my fitness and health lifestyle. I remember there was a time when I first made a decision to really get involved with health and fitness. It was one of those times for me where I realized that it was necessary for my life, right? So I was working, sitting behind a desk as a, IT professional. And prior to, really diving into it, fully, health and fitness was just, it was part of my life, but it wasn't like a big part of my life. It was just something that I did. And so I remember sitting at my desk as an IT professional. And for the first time in my life, I started actually gaining weight, right? And, I was getting older. I was 29 years old. And I was like, man, I can't, be sitting here and my stomach is hanging over my desk. I've never had this before. And so I remember I was like, I got to do something. And one of the first things that I started to do was immediately start working out more, right? I mean, I think that's kind of like the cliche thing. You got to work out more in order to lose weight. And so I did that, but I wasn't necessarily getting the results that I wanted. And so the other part of it was nutrition. And I knew nutrition was key, but I just didn't understand it. It wasn't something that it was like, second nature to me. I didn't grow up in a household where we learn about nutrition. I didn't go to school and learn about nutrition. It was just not something that was common knowledge. In fact, the only thing that I knew about nutrition was that you just got to eat salads, right? And I think that's what society pushes, eat salads all the time or eat less. And so I started doing those things. And honestly, personally, it was just taxing, because when you're eating less and you're working out more, you're tired all the time. And so I knew there had to be a better way. And so after doing some research and fully understanding, I really started to dive into more about nutrition and more about, exercise and how they coincide with each other. And so that's kind of how I got involved with health and fitness. And, I started eating better. I started incorporating Herbalife nutrition products, the company that I truly love in terms of their supplements. And, over a span of roughly about 3 to 4 months, I was able to drop 25 pounds, drop my body fat percentage, increase my energy, and improve my overall health. And, I never looked back. But it was one of those things where it was like, I knew I had to do something, and I just, leaned in on the disciplines that I developed over the years, and the understanding about, going after what it is that I wanted, something that my father would tell me, and just seeking it. And it literally led me to the success that I have today. And so, this is something that I always share with people. It's just like, if you're looking for a result, if you're looking to get better, there's no problem with, reaching out for help, because, I did personally. I reached out to someone who told me all about Herbalife, who told me all about nutrition, who told me all about, exercising, and it really supported me in getting the results that I have today and maintaining the results that I have today. And so, that's that.
Yeah. Nutrition is so, it's funny how I did the same journey where like, I want to understand what nutrition is. And people look at it, I found out like people look at it from a quantity perspective. What's truly is your body is a compound of food throughout your journey, your life. If you want to lose part of your body, it's not the workout, it's not the actual actions, it is what you eat. Your body can take that things out of you, I promise you. You know what I mean? Like if you just sit down and then like just don't eat, you will lose fat. That's how the body works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But also look at food. The things that changed my perspective on food is like, you look at the food or the nutrition as, what do I need? Like nutrition for you is not similar to someone who is spiritual. It's not someone who is as an entrepreneur who's trying to get more focused. Even like supplements and these things, most people don't understand those. What do you think? Right. What do you think about like, what is the best, a little step that someone can do right now in terms of understanding nutrition better?
Yeah. So nutrition isn't as complicated as what most people think it is. What really hinders people from fully understanding it is this mindset that they don't have to discipline themselves to eat right consistently to get the results that they want, right? So let me rephrase that. Nutrition is actually simple to fully understand. Anybody can understand it, quite honestly. But most people don't take the time to put into action the things that they actually do understand about nutrition. For example, it's clear that, and I can share this with anyone, in order to lose weight, it's all about calories in versus calories out. I think that's kind of like common knowledge. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. If you're eating less calories than you're burning, then you're going to lose weight, right? And so when it comes down to that, everybody's clear on it. And then it breaks down to another level, right? We call these the macronutrients when it comes to nutrition, right? And macronutrients are the proteins, the carbohydrates, the fats, because that's what those calories are made up of, right? Mm. And what happens is that most people don't understand. They understand the premise of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, but they don't understand how they make up the results in their physique, right? Like proteins obviously are a good building block for, building muscle. Carbohydrates is primarily our main source of energy. Fats also are a good source of energy, but how to properly take in the right, percentages of each, most people don't understand. We live in a society right now where I'll tell you that like majority of people eat way too many carbohydrates and less activity, right? And so what that creates is obesity. It creates like people gaining weight. because again, carbohydrates are good for you. And I know they've kind of gotten a bad rep over the years, but they're actually really good for you. But they're only become bad when you're taking in, imagine taking in all this carbohydrates. This is energy, right? But then you don't utilize it. You're not active. You're not burning it off. And so what happens is your body starts to store it. And then now it's like, now society tells you, don't eat any carbs. Carbs are bad. No, in reality, carbs are good.
Yeah.
They're fundamental. They're needed inside of your everyday diet. But you just have to understand how much of it to take in. It's kind of like gasoline. You don't put a bunch of gas in your vehicle and then overflow it, right? You put just enough, right, for it to fill up the tank, and then you utilize it, and then when it's done, you fill it back up. That's exactly how it works. And so, you know, when it comes to nutrition, it's actually super simple, but it really just takes, you know, a full commitment to applying a lot of these, you know, this common knowledge into your everyday life and staying consistent with it in order to get, you know, where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also go back to lack mindset. Why people eat too much is because they feel like they're not enough. They don't have enough. I want to eat more. I'm not good enough. So stuff myself without moving. Confusion in the mind and eating more, it just results to no activities, over fat. I had a good story with my mom, actually. Like, my mom used to have diabetes just because she eats so much goddamn carbs, and her conditions were really bad at some point. I went to a doctor and he was like, yeah, give her that pill and then like fucking needles and shit. Like, that was so stressful. So that was my main reason why I dive into nutrition. And he pretty much told me, like, diabetes is something like you can't cure. I fixed her nutrition. All what I did is I balanced her carbs, her fat, and her protein. And she went back, I think 6 months later. He was like, what did you do? She's not diabetic no more. And it is really like, I didn't even count micros for her. I didn't count anything. It's just like, I look at the food and I'm like, what is this? This is carbs. All right, so you had this piece of carbs right here. You don't have to calculate it, but look at it reasonably. Like, okay, so this is the food that I have. This is what I need. How can I, you know, eat a balanced lifestyle? So, and that all comes from.
No, I mean, I think it's so funny that you even brought that up, because I think even that conversation is super controversial, right? The fact that the doctor said that diabetes isn't curable, right? I mean, here's my opinion, and I'll share this, and I think it's a very controversial topic. I personally believe that anything is, in a sense, curable with your diet. And I do believe that disease is all diet related. It's all in your gut. It's all in what you eat.
Yeah.
And the human body is capable of so much. Like, it's capable of like repairing itself in so many different ways, but but you have to fuel it properly in order for it to be able to respond the way it needs to respond. And I mean, this conversation can go so many different places. I mean, because I have this huge thing when it comes to like the pharmaceutical industry, you know, right? And the pharmaceutical industry, in my opinion, is designed to keep us sick, because they want to keep selling us pills, and they want to keep selling us, you know, all of these things to mask what is going on inside of us instead of curing it. So these pills are like designed as like, oh yeah, they're curing you. No, they're not. They're masking, because the underlying issue is still there. You, like, just like you did for your mom, right?
Yeah.
You changed her diet. Hold on a second.
And as same as you say, like, I actually started slow by slow. I know for a fact she's not gonna sustain that much food if I go crazy on her in the first day. I start literally like, just, all right, so how about we just take a little bit off of that? Like, eat the same way, just take away this. And then like after 2 months, she kind of like by herself understands the balance of it.
Yeah.
And for, as you said, like, yeah, they can say whatever they want. The same thing for CBDs when weed. Like, they think, oh, it's illegal, it's bad. No. I'm a living example
I mean,
of like diabetes can be cured. So
absolutely. I mean, I 100%. I mean, you changed her diet, and she started to feel better. Started to, things inside of her system started to be better.
yeah.
And so, why don't we preach those things instead, right? And so it's kind of crazy, like, and I don't mean to take it off topic or anything like that, but it is a super controversial conversation, right? And so I do believe 100% that diet is super, it's one of those things that's related to your disease or your health. And you get to choose between which direction you want to go. You want to go eat poorly and get diseased, or do you want to eat healthier and continue to live a healthy lifestyle? And like I said, this conversation can go so many different places, because there's so much out there too in the market that's promoted as healthy and aren't really. And we'll save that for another conversation, but
Yeah.
it's like, I could talk about that forever.
Maybe that's another episode we can do.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the most aspects that I see with you is it's really like your level of understanding and the mindset and how you approach things is really, really fascinating. Even like you had a goal. I remember before the competition, we had a conversation between me and you that we're going to get to certain goals. You did it. And what do you think is the number one mindset, like conversation you have with yourself that let you do that, you have the motivation, do you need even motivation? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, motivation to me is like temporary, right? When you think about motivation, it's like a pep rally, right? Somebody can come into your life and say rah, 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 and everybody gets excited. But as soon as that person leaves your life, what's going to happen? You're left with yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's not motivation that I think most people that drive success. It's not motivation at all. It's discipline, right? And for me, personally, even getting involved with getting back into bodybuilding and things like that, right? Yes, initially what made me make the decision to get involved again was motivation. So that was the first thing. But it was the discipline that carried me to that success, right? I remember there was days where, I would eat certain things and I would do the cardio and I didn't feel like it, but I did it anyway. Why? Because I was disciplined to do it. And so when most people would have like quit because, hey, listen, there's nobody here to motivate me.
Yeah.
There's nobody here to motivate me, right? I went and did it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I did it without the accolades. There was nobody there to cheer me on while I'm on the treadmill or I'm doing all these things and I'm eating the broccoli and I'm eating the chicken or whatever. I did it because I made it a discipline on myself. I made it a habit. This is like that military mindset, and it was so funny because I'll share this too. It's kind of, in the bodybuilding world that I'm a part of, a lot of the athletes, and I can attest to this, a lot of the athletes are in the military. And it's no wonder why they are winning and doing so well in this sport. Is because in the military, obviously, it's all about discipline. It's all about staying consistent. And so they just translate that aspect into the bodybuilding world and they have success with it. So it's all about the disciplines and the habits that you create that's going to create the success.
Yeah. Discipline is pretty much created it's within you. You know what I mean? It's a clear desire to something for your life. It's not a specific goal.
It's basically doing what you said you're going to do. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's exactly it. You know what I mean? It's unwavering. It's making zero excuses, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to do this, and you follow it. And I'll share this with you too, because I've had people tell me like, I can't be as disciplined as you, right? I can't do this. And I think is one of the thing I'll share with them is that, listen, like everyone has the capability of being disciplined. Why? Because, listen, did you brush your teeth this morning? Yeah. Okay. You're disciplined in brushing your teeth. Did you take a shower? Okay. You're disciplined. Did you go to work? Yes, you're disciplined. Right. And
Yeah.
and people do these things on a daily basis, and they do it for some reason. We don't know what it is. Or we don't. Why do you brush your teeth every day? Okay. Yeah. You don't want to get gum disease. Okay. Cool. You don't want to have bad breath. Okay. Cool. Why do you take a shower? Because you don't want to, stink. You don't want to, you want to have good personal hygiene. So there's a reasoning that keeps you disciplined. Why do you go to work every day? Oh, because you don't want to be on the street. You don't want to be homeless. So it's the same thing that you apply to any other thing that you want in your life, right? You have a goal, you map out a plan of action, and then you discipline yourself enough and you make zero excuses and you just do it. That's it. You follow the plan and you just do it consistently.
Yeah, people get disciplined to the wrong thing. That's why. You are disciplined.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like, what are you disciplined for? You know what I mean? Like,
people are disciplined to happy hours. They discipline the happy hour, like Friday happy hour. Like I had a friend one time who was like he was telling me that he can't miss happy hour. I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't miss happy hour? I said, well, listen, what's funny in that moment, I was like, I'm proud of you, right? I'm proud of your discipline and your consistency. However, your discipline and your consistency is going to lead down to this path,
right?
Which is not a path that I personally want to. But he exhibit like, he's disciplined, and so it's a good characteristic to have. But you want to also be careful about what you're disciplined with, right?
Yeah.
What you're disciplined to do.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree. Now I want to talk about like time. What do you think? This is the biggest problem. Like, oh, I got kids, I got that. I want to be good for my kids, but I have work. I can't do this and I have to do this. I have to work out. The gym is 2 hours. It's like, okay. So what's your blueprint in terms of time? Because I know you are all over the place, like busy doing a lot of things at the same time and keeping the quality of your work. You know what I mean? Like the quality of your lifestyle. So what do you think about that? Time?
Well, when I think about time, one of the things that comes up for me is most people talk about or the question that I've gotten in the past is like, how do you balance everything? Like, and my response to that is there's actually no such thing as balance. You just do it or you don't. Bottom line. It's like, I always kind of like put it like this, is in a way, it's like, when you think about, I'm a parent, right? I'm a father. When you think about, being a father, being a parent, if your child couldn't eat this second, right? You'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
We as human beings, we have an innate ability to make shit happen, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And so you have to tap into that. So it isn't about, setting a perfect schedule that you're going to follow every single time. It's you just do it or you don't. If it's midnight and you haven't done your cardio, you haven't done, the things that you say you want to do, you figure it out, you go do it. And sometimes, to be honest with you, it's better to do something than nothing. Most people opt for nothing over something.
Yeah.
If I can't necessarily get to the gym, it's 2 hours away, I'm making excuses. And every excuse is an excuse. I'm just telling you the truth. If I can't make it to the gym 2 hours away, listen, I got 2 arms, 2 feet, in some type of resistance somewhere in the house. I can do something in the house, right? I don't necessarily need the fancy equipment of the gym every single time in order to create a result. I just need to be mentally here and just do it. Yeah. And so that's what it's all about. It's like, it's not about, it's not going to be perfect all the time. It's just get shit done, bottom line.
Yeah. Words are very important. The language that you use with your mind are super, super important. Like, for example, I want to get fit, but I don't know how to do it. In one level, you express a desire, right? I want to get fit. That's a promise to yourself. And in another level, you create an excuse, for example, or you create a negative thoughts around it.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So on one level, you say you want something, and the other level, you say, I can't do it. I don't deserve it, or I don't want it. Right. So Yeah, one thing that I've really learned from like, for example, just Connor's coach and other coaches, like, if honestly, if you say anything that contradicts your desires, you have to do like an hour of cardio. It's so painful. You know what I mean? Like, literally. We don't say what, and this is something we heard also from the Lakers coach. He says, like, we all know the challenges in life. We all know that what we're facing. But why do you have to say that? Do you know what I mean? Why do you have, we can't get that? You can, I'll do my best, and that's all you can do.
Right.
And I think that's one of your layers of language, I say. It's either you're gonna do it or not. So you kind of understand it, like, it's either positive or negative, right?
Yeah. There's no in between.
Yeah, there's no in
between.
100%. And also, nothing is perfect, so I may just do it. So that kind of like cancel all of the negative thoughts you have. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this podcast. Nothing is perfect, but we're gonna do it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? But
I'm glad that you brought that up. It's like, again, like, yeah, even setting this up, we set it up like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like we have every single thing that we need. Yes, maybe I wanted my background to be more appeasing. Maybe you wanted your background to be more appeasing as well. But at the end of the day, you just get it done and you just do it. And because we knew that in order for us to get good at it, you just got to start. Bottom line. It's the same concept, right? And you know, case in point, and I'll tell you this too, and it's so funny we're talking about this because I want to apply this logic to other projects that I want to do in my life. I've been saying for a long time that I want to do YouTube. And I've been the sole person that's holding me back. Why? Because I feel like I look at all these other YouTube channels and they're perfect in my eyes. And I'm like, I can't put out content like this because I need this and I need this and I need this light and I need this, right? And it is holding me back. And so this is the first year where I'm like, you know what, F it. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Because I can't get good at this. I can't be like them until I just start. And so I just, you know, I want to share with you too. I appreciate you even for pushing me, because these are some of the things that, you know, I made a commitment, but you're the person that also pushed me even with this podcast. Like, yo, Reef, you got to do this. You got to do this. And I'm like, I remember telling myself when you reached out to me, I was like, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe not ready. I don't know if I can do this. I don't have this. But I remember when you sent me the message, I'd already told myself I got to do it. So you didn't really see any hesitation in my text back to you, but there was a hesitation, but I was just like, all right, let me just say yes. Just don't even think about it, Reef. Just say yes. Like 10 a.m. Yes. Okay, cool. Right? Like everything else is going on, but I was just like, yes, I'm gonna say yes. And what makes this work is maybe it's not perfect, but it's perfect because we're actually doing it. And that's the key. That's the 2022 motto. It's perfect because you're doing it. It doesn't have to be, it's not perfect because it's perfect. It's perfect because you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same energy as you think about it or doing it. It's truly the same.
Exactly.
Just one is real, one is creates real effects in life, and one is just in your mind. That's it. It's not real.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So now we need, if I am someone who I'm really not happy with my fitness journey, how I eat, I look at myself negatively, what is your advice to me? Where can I start?
Well, reach out for help. You know, I think we're in a society right now where most people don't like to reach out for help, especially guys, to be honest with you, especially guys, right? And I'm only speaking as someone who's been in your shoes before. Okay, so I'm not speaking to someone who's like on the outside. I've been in your shoes as recently as this year. Okay, reach out for help, because that one reach out can possibly be the thing that changes your whole entire life trajectory in life. And if you don't, you just be prepared to have the same process repeated itself over and over again. So it starts with that. Just reach out for help. I guarantee it's going to change your life.
Got it. Yeah, I totally agree. Like some people have, I can see it even in like business sites, like, no, I can do it myself. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How's that works for the last 3 years? No. Okay. Well, you're telling me literally you're gonna do the same thing and try to figure it out by yourself. You're just gonna create the same thing. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like reach out for help. Reach out for people who can push you and get you to somewhere where you want to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about like fitness? Like, people look at it as just a change in their body, right? What it does on the outside world, like lifestyle in general, like work, what fitness does for you, for example, in getting clear to what you want to do, for example.
And fitness is more than just about a look. I think on the surface level, right? Obviously, I mean, when you look at someone, you can, in many cases, obviously, you see a fit person, you can tell that they are obviously working out, right? But it's more than just about looking good and those vain things, right? Fitness is more about having a healthy heart, having a healthy lifestyle, because fitness is and fitness also supports even having a healthy mindset, right? I know several people who work out not because they're trying to look good, but because it helps them blow off steam. It helps them with their daily, tasks. You release endorphins and stuff into the universe, into the air, and it just makes you feel overall better. So, and you think about, if you go way back in time, right, back to the early years of mankind, right? Fitness wasn't called fitness back then. It was just called lifting up a rock and moving it to another location because you needed to build a home, right?
Yeah.
And it was part of everyday thing, right? And it wasn't like the cavemen were just sitting there and just like, not doing anything or lifting up these things and moving things around and running because they wanted to look good for their counterparts, right? The female counterparts. No, it was part of the lifestyle, right? And so today, obviously, given its name, fitness, it kind of is put into this box where it's all about, looking a certain way, but it's bigger than that. Everything that we do is fitness related. Every action that we take can essentially be, calculated or, categorized as fitness related. Me lifting this up, right? This is heavy, right? That could be a fitness related movement. It supports my whole lifestyle, supports everything that I do. So when I think about fitness, is bigger than just the look. It's all about how it makes you feel. It's all about how it supports living healthier and longer years.
And have more energy for sure, and especially if you have a family. You gotta be the best version of yourself, because that's mindset, that energy that you have is gonna translate to your kids,
Absolutely.
Kids, and to your
Absolutely.
family. You know what I mean? Like if you are not disciplined, your kid is not gonna be disciplined, and his kid is not gonna be.
Absolutely.
Think about it as like you're doing a crime, not only for yourself but for your kids as well and family. Being the best version of yourself is the best motivation for people around you to look at you instead of like telling them what to do. You are the example for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that you brought up kids. I mean, look, you think about kids run around all day, all the time. And, we don't necessarily always think about that as fitness, but obviously in today's term, it essentially is, right? It supports their lifestyle, right? They need to get around and blow off steam, blow off energy and things like that. But it supports everything, like if you just imagine a kid just sitting there all day and not doing anything. I mean, that's, what kind of life is that, right?
Yeah.
And so, now you brought up a really solid point for sure.
Got it. All right. Last one would be, who do you want to work with? I know, like for a fact, It's kind of hard to get to work with you a little bit because you want to, this goal, you told me about it before, and this is the goal was from day one. It was getting a portion of people to transform their life and show the world what you can do with a simple step-by-step actions. You know what I mean? So who do you want to work with?
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah. Are you referring to like, who do I want to work with in terms of clients, or who do I want to work with in terms of
the Fit Dad experience by Sharif, the program?
So personally, I want to work with someone who's ready and committed to changing their lives, right? And it's not just physically, but it's also mentally, right? I want to work with someone who's sick and tired of being sick and tired, and is just committed and just dedicated for change, right? I want to work with someone who is like excited for change, who's excited to create disciplines in their lives that's going to transform their lives. And I just, honestly, I just like working with people who are just, ready for something new, right? Ready for a change, because those are the people that I find that go on to get the best results and really represent, the Fit Dad brand and what we're building here. They're a great representation of, just everything that we embody right now and in the future. So those are the people, those are some of the accolades, some of the characteristics that I look for in people who are ready and excited to work with.
Got it. Amazing. I love it. In terms of female, males, like what is your advice for married dads, for example, with family? What is your advice to transform your entire family instead of just yourself as well? How did you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think, one of the things I will share is this is like, when the whole family is involved with transforming, it makes everything so much easier. But obviously it starts with one typically, and that message or that ideology tends to transform everybody. So like case in point, even for me, me living this healthy lifestyle obviously is transferred over to my daughter, who's 7 years old, and she's super healthy and active and eating and doing a lot of the same things that I do. My girlfriend does exactly the same thing too. She's getting crazy results and always is looking, better and better every single time, and just feeling better as well. And so, when it starts with one person, and it definitely, it transforms into the entire family. But what I'll say is that, like, when the whole family is involved with that one project, right, it makes a world of a difference, because there's no longer like one person trying to do it themselves. Because I mean, if you think about it, like imagine trying to transform your physique or trying to transform your life, and you're the only person in your household that wants to do this, right? You're cooking for yourself, you're doing all these things yourself, but then you look to your left and someone else is eating, sloppy pizza or whatever. It can definitely be, in a way, somewhat kind of like defeating in a way, right? But so, as a father, it's super important that you enroll your family into the healthy lifestyle as well. And just understand that it might not always be immediate, because just like you, it took some time for you to really make the decision to really want to, be better. However, just, stay disciplined, run the course, just keep doing your thing. And, I guarantee you the family is going to definitely get involved and want to be a part of your journey as well. And it would just transform, the whole family's, culture, the whole family's values, and all of those things as well.
And it changed you and your results towards the worst. That's the domino effect. People pay attention to what's going on within them, but they don't pay attention to the domino effects that they created. Like one of the things that I've done, like, for example, motivating just guys that just running out of crazy schedule, traveling to Seoul, Korea, and then like doing the fight 3 hours before that. And while doing business and while cutting weight, I had to go from 170 to 135. So like, in a very short amount of time, I finished my fight, sign the contract, go back to the US, do the second tour. that it's naturally for me, what I look at is like, this is my life, right? But when I look at all of my friends around me, every single one of them start going bigger because they got inspired of it because of this. So one of my friends, for example, he went from having four employees companies doing like about, I think 20,000 around that, to now having over 18.
Nice.
Just because he saw all of the movement, and it just, I didn't reach out to him like, hey bro, like you gotta do this or you gotta do that. He was by himself. He applied it because he saw it, and that's the domino effect.
No, it's definitely true. I mean, just hearing you even say that too, even with my whole bodybuilding journey that I just recently got back involved with. You know, my girlfriend now is joining and getting involved with her own bodybuilding journey as well. But even bigger than that, when I think about all the people who watch my journey, that's on my team, right? And when I say my team, I'm talking about like, you know, my healthy, active lifestyle team with Herbalife. Many of them are reaching out now because now they're interested in transforming their bodies and getting involved with the bodybuilding world as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, your decision, your one decision has a huge domino effect on the people around you. And you just want to make sure that your decision is a positive one, right? And so obviously you transforming your life and your physique and, you know, getting involved with the Fit Dad transformation journey and all of these things is a positive one because it's all leading towards a healthy lifestyle, just things that's just going to really improve, you know, how you live in and just, you know, where you are, you know, today and in the future. And so, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Like that domino effect definitely is huge and definitely does happen.
Got it. Yep, of course. If now, like, just take a 60-second to plug whatever you want, how people can reach you out. What do you have in your life? What's coming up in your life? And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, if you want to reach out to me, I'm definitely on all of the various social media platforms. On Instagram, I'm FitDad, FITDAD. Follow me on there. On Facebook, you can search for Sheriff Taiwo, and Sheriff is spelled just like Sheriff, SHERIFF. Taiwo is TAIWO. I'm on TikTok, same name, Sheriff Taiwo on TikTok as well. But you can also reach out to me via email, fitdad247@gmail.com. But most importantly, man, just, you know, I'm giving out this information because I want you to use it, right? Because you never know how one reach out can ultimately change your life inside of everything that we're doing or everything that you're doing. But just take a chance on yourself, right? This is 2022. There's no better time to get in the best shape of your life. There's no better time to do the responsible thing and start living healthier, right? There's so many opportunities out there for you to be better, and this is definitely a great one. So I'm excited to be able to work with every single person that reaches out to me, and it's not just for men, by the way. We do support women as well. So just know that, you know, those called the Fit Dad transformation, I would definitely love to support anyone who's looking to make a transformation or just looking to live a healthy lifestyle. So
love it. All right, so fitdadexperience.com. Okay, and that's it. Thank you so much for being in here. I'm very excited to have a podcast with you every single week. I'm pretty sure you also have a really nice guest coming up pretty soon. So that for your journey, and yeah, we can meet up in person pretty soon. Let's do it.
Absolutely. For sure. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.